What do you think of
The
Jackson's? Go ahead.
the brain fart was contagious because I thought that for a second too. So I was in
Yeah.
full Cincy mode for a sec.
Yeah, I'm
You
thinking, wait a
know.
sec. I have no. I'm confusing the stud LSU receivers there at the top of the draft. So, but that doesn't hurt. I still think Burrow's a target here, even with just T Higgins and not Chase. But I think it does open up more options. An interesting player that I'm looking at coming up here is, if he gets to me, is Amarian Hampton, the Chargers rookie running back. Do you have any real feel for him coming in there in the Harbaugh system?
I think it's going to be huge in the Harbaugh system. The only thing is because he might be splitting with Najee Harris quite a bit, right?
Yeah, there was kind of a weird incident that happened this week. Najee Harris hurt his eye in a fireworks accident on the 4th of
That's
July, like kind
right.
of shades of JPP. And it's kind of, his agent came out and said it's not substantial, that he'll be ready for the start of the season, but didn't say that he'll be ready for the start of camp. So I think that could be tricky for him as he's trying to hold off this first round rookie. Like, I really like Hampton. I thought like he kind of was super productive in all aspects of the game at North Carolina, and then really blew up in the combine. Had a 40 that people weren't expecting, ran a faster time than people were expecting. So now I know if I want Burrow, I'm going to have to take him here, because the guy who picked in the one spot who took Chase is definitely going to take Burrow. So now that's kind of the decision point. Do I go him here with just Higgins, or do I let the number one? I think I'm going to go Burrow here, and at least lock up that stack. But assuming, yeah, he's here for me, so I'm going to take Burrow, and just have that
Perfect.
stack, and then I can hopefully get JJ McCarthy as my second quarterback later. Now I got another pick coming up right on my fourth round pick here. That the guy in the one hole took Hampton, which I would expect. By not taking Hampton there, I had a feeling I was going to lose him. But I already have Taylor, so I have a strong RB1. I think I'm going to go here. I think I'm going to go with Jameson Williams in Detroit. I think this gives me a really strong 1, 2, 3 receiver. And a good thing with him is Detroit plays Minnesota in week 17. And week 17 is when all the money's decided. So what you're looking for here is the correlation. You're hoping that game shoots out. And I think Minnesota, Detroit in the Dome is a game that has a good chance to shoot out. So if theoretically Jefferson's going off, you'd like to think that Jameson could be the one running it back on the other side of the game. So I like the way we're started out here.
Football season is right around the corner, and there's no better way to lock in your fantasy dominance early than with Best Ball on DraftKings, where you draft once and ride your roster all season long. And right now, DraftKings is giving all customers a can't-miss offer. Enter a lineup in the $15 million Best Ball contest for just $20, and you'll score another Best Ball ticket to play free for a share of $15 million, giving you a second shot to win big. It's easy. Just draft your dream team once, no weekly management required, and let your top scorers automatically start each week. Across the whole season, every breakout star, every clutch play, every touchdown will count towards your quest for a share of $15 million.
Let's see what we got going on.
Way down the board, I am loving RJ Harvey this year. And that's
Me
not just
too.
because, from Denver. I'm not just a homer. All I'm hearing is how Sean Payton's going to use him. How a lot of people are liking him for offensive rookie of the year. We haven't really had a running back like him in Denver in a long time, so I think there might be quite a bit of value with him.
I agree. I'm going to add him to the queue right now. If he gets around to me, I would love to have him as my second RB here. He's one of my highest owned players on the season this far. And I kind of got like right now he's going in like the fifth or like early sixth round. in the pre-draft, they actually do pre-draft contests on here too, where you're drafting for good size too. I think it's like 100 or 200,000 the first, and you're drafting the rookies before the draft. So that contest starts like the week of the Super Bowl and closes like the day before the draft or the day of the draft. So I was getting like a ton of Harvey. I just liked him as a talent and thought he was going too late. I was getting him in like the 13th, 14th round. And of course, now he's drafted by Denver higher than he was expected to go. And in a role that's like wide open, he's shot up draft board. So I'm getting like 7 or 8 rounds of closing line value there on Harvey. I don't know if he'll be there for me here. I'd love to get him as my second running back. I think another, I like Henderson too here. I prefer Harvey, but I would be happy with Henderson as well. Let's say.
Absolutely. Kind of around the board too. I'm avoiding Deebo Samuel this year. This whole situation with Washington reminds me way too much of last year with Houston. Go out and get, go out and get a wide receiver that's been around for a bit, and I don't know.
It's a little dicey too. If you saw, I don't know if you saw it today, McLaurin was like doing a little mini press conference, basically expressing his dismay with his contract situation. So there's that. And there was also, everybody kind of saw pictures of Deebo looking a little chubby in his jersey in minicamp, and people were speculating that he was in the best shape going into the season. But
right.
I'll take Deebo. I'm not like going out of my way to take Deebo, but on teams where I have Jaden Daniels, I'm fine taking Deebo because he goes good 3 or 4 rounds later than McLaurin does. But so it looks like we missed out on Harvey here. So I'm looking at Rome Odunze. I'm big on the Chicago offense this year. I think with Ben Johnson coming in there as the new coach and play caller, I think he's going to elevate that whole show. I think Caleb's going to have a bounce back second year. Rome just went there. So I'm looking at Swift. We'll see if he's there for me in a couple picks. If not, maybe this is a tricky spot because I think Addison makes sense to really set up a nice double stack with JJ McCarthy and Jefferson later, but his DUI trial started today. So he could be facing a 3 or 4 game suspension to start the season. But if you think our team is strong enough to kind of weather that it could be a very potent combination to have later in the season. So as of right now, it's tricky, it's risky, but I think if the board falls the way it does, nothing. I'm on the clock now. You know what? I'm going to go Addison. I'm going to set up that double stack, and this is kind of a risky pick because he is going to be facing, in all likelihood, going to be facing a suspension. And there's a little bit of game theory in that, like, let's just say you're someone who's going to draft 1 or 2 of these and just, sweat them all season, then pick your guys and just get them whenever you get them. But for someone like me who's doing these in volume, I'm kind of looking at like, when am I going to be able to get in at the best price? And if it comes out 2 weeks from now that, that he takes a plea and he, winds up with a 3-game suspension, he's obviously going to drop, and I'm going to be able to get Addison at a 3-round discount, next week or the week after. So you definitely have to take stuff like that into account. But for me, I'm looking at like, what can I do to give this lineup the best upside? Like, we're trying to beat 800,000 other teams. So it's like, we know we have Jefferson. We know we're going to be targeting JJ McCarthy. So I think even though I'm risking losing a little closing line value on Addison, I still think he made the most sense. Like, there's a lot of times like in that spot, like guys like Harvey or Trayvon Henderson will fall. Excuse me, and that's who I prefer to get. But the board didn't fall for us that way, so I think Addison made the most sense there.
Well, we'll bank on his legal team. Hope nice, hopefully little suspension.
Yeah.
Nice.
Now I'm also kind of setting up. We got to go along with that Minnesota move. We got Hawkinson. I need a tight end, so he's going to be someone we can consider there. We need a second running back. That's something we need to do. If running back's getting thin, that happens on DraftKings, which is kind of counterintuitive to a lot of the other popular best ball sites are half point PPR. But for some reason, running backs are more valued and go earlier on DraftKings, where the receivers should be valued a little higher because they get a full point per reception. But I still think there's some decent options here. I like Pollard. I loved Jenkins as a player and as a value in these drafts before the news came down the other day that he was arrested for a domestic violence dispute. So now his availability is kind of in question. So the running backs are going quick here.
Right.
I've got Hawkinson queued up. Let's take a look at the running backs and see if there's anybody. Is there anybody here on this running back list that you find interesting at the top of this chart?
Etienne's is going to be pretty interesting in Jacksonville. I really like that head coach pick that they made. I think
I do too.
He did with the Tampa. I think that there's definitely potential there. Kind of down the board. I mean,
get him, yeah. I think Scatabo is gonna. I like Scatabo. I think Charbonnet. He obviously has Walker in front of him, but I do think he is a really good running back when he gets the opportunity. Let's see what we got. All right, we're up in 3 picks. I got everybody kind of.
I agree, though. I think stay away from Judkins. Also, the entire Cleveland offense. Who knows what's going to happen this year? It could be like 2 years ago where it kind of just like. When Flacco just kind of caught fire and everyone was well, but I don't think there's anyone to really focus on there.
No, there's 4 different guys that could be starting at quarterback. It could be Flacco, it could be Pickett, it could be either of the rookies like Shador or the kid from Oregon. But
yeah,
I think the best bet here might be Mason just going fully in on the Minnesota offense. Wow, did I accidentally click on Mahomes? I don't know. I must doing this on stream with while talking is kind of tricky because I think it looks like I accidentally clicked Mahomes. So okay, that's good to know, but I guess we're going to have to try to find some ways to backstack Pat Mahomes now because his Xavier Worthy and Rashard Rice are obviously off the board. But this is the kind of randomness that you just like accidentally get Mahomes and maybe he'll bounce back to the level that he had been fantasy-wise previous years. All right, who do we got? I do not know how that Mahomes click happened. You know what? I might take your guy ETN here. I think we need a running back. He's the highest ADP running back on the board. Let's see what we can do here. I'm going to put him in the queue. Running backs are going off the board fast here, so I think we got to get somebody in here. And let's see. All right, we're on the board. I'm going to take ETN.
Perfect.
And they play Indy. They play Taylor in week 17. So that's kind of gives another bit of correlation there that hopefully we're looking for that game to shoot out now too. Let's see what do we got here?
So, tight end we definitely need soon.
Yeah,
and
we do need.
I feel like all the big flashy names have been taken already.
Yeah, now it's at the point where you're kind of trying to build depth, try to build correlation. Looking at the receivers that are out there, I like the rookies Higgins and Harris. I think and Burden as well. Like I think these are guys that are going to step right into roles based on where they were drafted and they're in offenses that I like. Let's see who's out there at tight end. I mean, tight end is pretty deep. This is why I'm not scared to wait at tight end. Like you still have Andrews and Njoku, Kraft, Kincaid, Loveland, like John who got traded. I don't like him nearly as much on Pittsburgh as I did when he was on Miami. I think Likely is a really talented guy. Like when he gets the opportunity, he produces. And I think Goddard's very undervalued. So there's definitely some tight ends out there. Let's
I know I just went on a whole rant about how we shouldn't take any Cleveland players, but if Joe Flacco ends up starting, David Njoku, like if I'm not mistaken, he put up some crazy numbers with Flacco is like I think that offense just finally clicked and they finally knew how to use him. So there actually might be a case. Hopefully, maybe we can just edit out my whole rant against taking the Cleveland Browns players.
No, but you know what?
I think that might be the way to go.
Yeah, I think right now he's clearly the best player by ADP value on the board. And someone just took McCarthy ahead of us, which ahead of his ADP. But that kind of happens on DraftKings. But I guess it's not a terrible thing that we accidentally auto-drafted Mahomes. But now, so we have two quarterbacks. I'm going to put your guy Njoku in the queue right now and then there he goes. Somebody must be listening to us. But so now we're looking
at my best analysis yet.
But I think there's still a lot of guys left out there at tight end. I'm looking at Scatterboo here. I don't know if it's Scatterboo. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I think he's going to get a lot of work for the Giants. Like I think he'll probably be the 1A in the backfield with Tyron Tracy, and now he goes. So let's see what we got here. Let's Charbonnet, Bateman. They're all. I'm kind of scared of Najee with the fireworks incident, and plus I just don't love him as a player anyway. You know what? I'm gonna go Charbonnet here. He's a dude who I think has upside when he gets the opportunity. He's always been productive. And then
I think that's definitely gonna be a run first team here too.
Yeah, for sure.
It's going to be a very bizarre Seattle team to watch with Cooper Kupp lining up them, Sam Darnold at quarterback. It's going to be interesting to watch.
Do you think Milroe has a chance of taking that job late in the season? That's like a lot of people's fear with like drafting Darnold, that like Milroe is this. I'm on the clock. Let's see. Do you want Bateman, or what do you think? Bateman or Trey Harris, the rookie, as a receiver? Or do you think Spears as an extra running back?
I'm going to say Bateman between the two.
All right, let's do Bateman. He was always been a guy who I thought was talented and kind of broke out. Finally stayed healthy for the better part of the last season and broke out a little bit. And I think just having a piece of that Baltimore offense is probably a good thing. We obviously drafting this late aren't going to get any of the stars, the Derrick Henry, Lamar, or anybody, or even Zay Flowers, but I think Bateman gives us a little taste of a good offense. We got right now we're at 2 quarterbacks, 4 running backs, 5 wide receivers, and still no tight ends. So we definitely got I think kind of the standard build generally, and this obviously like deviates from draft to draft depending on like where you use your draft capital, but like 3 quarterbacks, 6 running backs, 8 wide receivers, and 3 tight ends is kind of just like a general like good benchmark. But then if you use more draft capital, if you draft more running backs early, maybe you take less at running back. If you draft a lot of wide receivers heavy, you could go a little easier there. Like I'm almost always going to take 3 running backs and 3 quarterbacks and 3 tight ends, unless I've like really spent up at the position. Like if I take Josh Allen or Lamar like early in the 3rd round, then I might only go with 2. Or the same thing at tight end, where if I've taken Brock Bowers or Trey McBride, I might only go with 2. But generally speaking, I'd say at least probably 95% of the time I'm going to take 3 quarterbacks and 3 tight ends. So we definitely have some work to do at tight end, and probably gonna want to get one more quarterback.
Download the DraftKings Daily Fantasy app now to draft your $20 best ball lineup to play for a share of $15 million and get a second ticket to play free for a share of $15 million. That's 2 chances to win big without ever setting your lineup again. Draft one, get one, only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 877-8-HOPE-NY/text HOPE-NY 467-369, New York. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org, Connecticut. 18 plus in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. Eligibility restrictions apply. Void where prohibited. 1 per customer. Must enter a lineup into the NFL Best Ball $15 million headliner contest by 9/4/25. $20 entry fee. Bonus issued as 1 ticket to NFL Best Ball $15 million headliner contest. Ticket reward is site credit. Valid for use only on NFL Best Ball $20 million headliner contest. Ticket reward is single use and expires on the sooner of 30 days, 720 hours, or contest lock. See terms at https://www.draftkings.com/NFL-bestball. Ends 9/4/25 at 6:20 p.m. ET9. Sponsored by DK.